Hello, I'm Sharon Armstrong, Vice President of the Alberta Teachers Association. Recently, the ATA invited candidates for leadership of the Alberta Liberal Party to our summer conference to meet teachers and discuss their vision and ideas for public education. The first question we asked candidates was related to transformation in education. It read, Alberta is world-renowned as a top-performing jurisdiction in regards to public education. What do you think of the system today? And what are your priorities for change that would help ensure continued excellence? Our next question related to education funding. A number of grants for school boards were reduced or eliminated in the 2011 budget. As a result, hundreds of teachers across the province were laid off in June. Would a Liberal government under your leadership reverse grant cuts to school boards? And what principles will be used in the future to ensure stable, predictable, and sustained funding for schools? Finally, we asked candidates to discuss the future of the teaching profession. Our question said, the Alberta Teachers Association has been the professional voice of teachers for over 94 years. The ATA is a unified organization with both union and professional functions representing all teachers in Alberta's public, separate, and francophone schools. Do you support the continuation of the association in its current form? And what would your government do to further support the teaching profession in Alberta? Here now are the responses to our questions from leadership candidate Bruce Payne. Thank you for viewing.
Hi, I'm Bruce Payne. I have lived in this province for my entire life. I grew up in Calgary and in Lethbridge. I'm a carpenter. My family has lived and worked and helped to build Alberta for more than 120 years. And I have worked in my career helping to build Alberta for just about a half of a century. And 6 generations of my family in Alberta. That's substantial. That shows that I come from the bedrock of Alberta. My grandfather homesteaded just outside of the Waterton National Park near a lake that was named after him, Payne Lake. And so that shows that I come from the bedrock of Alberta. I also took my trade as a carpenter in Lethbridge, and I've had a great opportunity as a carpenter to run my own business for a number of years. I've had the opportunity to work on projects, universities and schools and bridges and industrial projects right across the province, from Pincher Creek to Fort McMurray, from Medicine Hat to Grand Prairie and everything in between. So I've been there helping to build Alberta. I had a public education in Lethbridge that afforded me the ability and the skills and everything that was required to be successful in my career. And I also have had an opportunity to raise 2 children, 2 adult children. And those adult children also had a public education and went on to University of Lethbridge, completed their degrees, and now work in the city, in the area of the city of Calgary, giving back to society as energetic, young, vibrant professionals. And that's what public education delivers. It delivers community. It delivers people who give back to the community. And that's why I am a supporter of public education. I now have a wife, Christine, and my little daughter, 9-year-old stepdaughter, and I'm seriously concerned about her future, especially when it comes to education. When I see how this province is managing the education dollars that they have. They're not delivering, they're not keeping their promise, and I propose that I would form a government that would deliver. The Alberta teachers are delivering the best education that money can buy, that they can deliver with the resources that they're given. And we need to ensure that that only improves. Education today isn't what it was 100 years ago or even 50 years ago or even 10 years ago. There's technological changes and developments coming that we want Albertan children to be exposed to. We want them to be able to learn the very best technologies that they can learn. And in order for that to happen, we need to take and allow the power, the decision-making power, to go back to the local school boards. With the power not being delivered or allowed to, the decisions being allowed to be made at the local school board level, the people in the legislature are out of touch with what the needs of the people in the local area are. The teachers in the classroom, they best know what the needs of their students are. The local school board is in a position to best hear those needs expressed by those teachers. We need to, as an Alberta government, if I was elected as Premier of this province, an Alberta Bruce Payne Liberal government would put the power of decision making back to the local school board level so that they can best decide how to deliver education to our young people. Education funding is a basic value and principle statement. This government, current government, hasn't been able to make that commitment. When they negotiate a collective agreement with the teachers, then they want to pull back on it. They want to second guess themselves. This government isn't a government that has been able to make solid decisions to help us bridge through a volatile economy. In Alberta, we don't really have a spending problem. We don't really have a revenue problem, although those may factor in on it. What we have is a volatility problem. So it's just bad management. When you know that in Alberta we have this cyclical highs and lows, but yet we don't plan for them, we don't strategize how to get through them. A Bruce Payne Alberta Liberal government has a strategy to provide sustainable funding through those times. It's done by providing alternate revenue sources, and I'm not here to talk about those revenue sources right now, but it also is done by managing your spending in low times when you need to create jobs, and saving in good times when the price for infrastructure and things are high. So it's a value problem and a commitment problem. When this government takes and negotiates a collective agreement with the Alberta teachers and then wants to renege on it, that says that there's a problem just simply with the commitment to invest in Albertans. An Alberta Liberal government is committed to investing in Albertans to secure our future. Our young people are going to be competing on a global scale for jobs in the future. We need to best position them by investing in them through education. If we don't, then all of the other problems that we face in Alberta, the healthcare problems, the environment problems, the energy sector problems, all of those problems still face huge challenges without funding properly education. Our children are going to be the brains that solve those problems down the road. And so we need to make that commitment. You're absolutely right. The Alberta Teaching Association should remain in its current form, and I believe in strengthening those associations and unions because I am a business agent for the Carpenters Union. I was elected as the president of the Building Trades of Alberta Southern Council, and as such, I value the importance of bringing people together, sharing ideas, sharing resources, the solidarity that comes from that, and the strength that's built there. It builds community. It's part of what builds our future. Those associations of people working together, sharing ideas. You get more balanced viewpoints. And as an Alberta Liberal leader and the future Premier of this province, I would work hard to preserve and protect those associations and keep them strong. This Alberta government currently, under the Conservatives, has not done that. They have eroded and opened the labor code and changed it and allowed the non-union to tell the unions how to operate their business, that's inappropriate. You know, Simpson Sears doesn't go and tell Walmart how to do their business. So why is the Alberta government, under this conservative government, allowing organizations like Merit Contractors Association to tell the union group how to run their business? That's not right. And as a leader for the Alberta Liberals and as a leader of this province, I would stand strong and fight to ensure that these associations stay strong, share resources. They are the ones that are going to be able to find the professional development, just like in the Carpenters Union. The Carpenters Union that is where the most advanced technologies emerge from, and those advanced technologies that teachers need to equip themselves and become effective in the classroom are going to come from sharing the ideas within their association. I want to thank you for listening to what I have to say, and I want to thank you for the opportunity. I wanted to say that education is important. It's an important core value of Bruce Payne. It's an important core value of the Alberta Liberal Party. And I'm committed to helping provide long-term sustainable funding. Last night, after you folks had the opportunity to listen to the Conservative candidates, I went onto the website that talked about their promises and commitments. And some of them were very bold and aggressive, as saying things that were important sound bites to the teachers. We're going to provide sustainable, long-term, regular funding. We're going to repair the broken relationship between the Teachers Association and the Alberta government, and I'm calling BS on them. You know what? I'm calling BS on them because for too long they've been making the promises and they haven't been able to deliver. They've had, every one of the candidates in the Conservative Party have had ample opportunity to step forward and effect change and build that relationship strong, and they continue to show over and over again how they are not committed to Alberta young people and investing in education. An Alberta Liberal government under the Bruce Payne leadership will deliver, will commit to delivering those long-term funding opportunities, sustainable funding, and we will commit to ensuring that the tools are delivered to the local school boards that are needed so that they can make the decisions, they can make the plans on where to build, how to spend, and how to use the resources best for the needs that they face in the local area. That's what the Alberta Liberal Party under Bruce Payne leadership would do. And you can count on me to do that because I am the guy who also negotiated collective agreements, and I understand the value of them, the importance of them, and the importance of bargaining in good faith and honoring agreements. These other folks haven't been keeping their promises. A Bruce Payne government will keep their promises.